okay, now you do 2 rounds with me. I'm like, can I go wash up? Because a little bit of blood running down my nose. And then he said, yes, go. I washed up, and then I came out, and so I took the 1 round off, and then I did the fourth and fifth round with Francis. So it was pretty cool, man.
The AllStar app, the #1 app in the business. UFC, Bellator, One Championship, PFL, and more. Get the app right now. Link in description. Let's get into the setup, man. You got in the background. Looks like
Yeah.
you're in your garage, man. You got
Yeah.
everything back there, right? Like, how did you put that together?
Uh, Against my wife's better wishes, I took it over, man. I have a 2-car garage, and I kind of just, I got my Echo bike right here,
Mm,
which is the killer. I got a
yeah.
bench. I got some dumbbells. I got the Muay Thai full length bag. I got the water bag
Yeah.
over there. I got the combo bag over there. I got my son's dump truck right there. I got a 10 by 10 wrestling mat, the elliptical TV. So I'm pretty
Yeah.
good, man. I'm set up here.
Yeah, no excuses, right? No
No, yo,
excuses.
every day, every day. I mean, I'm in here, no days off. So if I'm not in the gym, which I try to be as much as I
Mhm.
can, I'm here. I'm in here. So there's no excuse.
What did you have to sacrifice? You just mentioned that, you had to take over your wife and everything. What
well,
did you have to sacrifice?
well, the space. I mean, the garage is the storage. You get your
Yeah,
car in here in the winter.
yeah,
You keep your vehicle out of the elements. I'm in the Northeast, so
yeah.
we're always getting snow
Mhm.
in the winter. So I took it over. It's mine. She can't do anything in here. I'm about to take. I have some shelving over here that I want to take out and put an ice bath and a sauna in. This elliptical is about to go away.
Like, see, you're
So
gonna be the local gym in your neighborhood. That's what's gonna happen.
yeah, man. Hey, it's it's a part of the process. That
Uh,
the ice bath and the sauna.
mm,
It's become quite the science with the recovery process. So it's you know it's working. So
for
people
sure.
people are doing it.
Definitely, man. It's working, man. You're undefeated. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And you're performing great. I just wanted to talk about the career, though. You know what I mean? You
yeah,
started your career a little later than most. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Why did you decide to pull the trigger in your mid 30s?
yeah. So I've had this talk before where I got sober in 2016. So I'm coming up on 7 years. Actually, February 1st, 2016. My birthday is February 12th. I actually turned 32 in treatment, and you know, shortly after that, I spent, obviously I spent some time working on myself, but 2018, August 2018, I took a small boxing match because, I was getting in shape. I was physically in a really good place and mentally in an even better place. So, um, in 2018, I took a boxing match, and someone at the boxing match was an MMA fighter, and he was just doing boxing. And he had made some comments, some offhand comments about how MMA fighters are tougher than boxers. And I had the boxing background. I was like, okay, well, tell me about this MMA stuff. And previous to like that particular conversation, I didn't really know anything about it. Um, like Chuck Liddell, like I knew like the big names, but I had not watched it like at all. So I didn't know anything about it, and so I asked him for a promote, like who do you fight for? What's the promotion? And he gave me the promoter's number, and I called the promoter, and I said I want to do MMA, and he's like, yeah, who are you, guy? And he asked me if I knew any jujitsu, and I said, which jujitsu? Literally, and I meant that. Like, what is jujitsu? I had no idea. I'm like karate, or is this like some type of thing that And he said you need to know jujitsu before I put you on a show, and that was August 2018. he called me back like a week later. It was like, I got this show in October. If you can get a jiu-jitsu coach to sign off on you, I'll put you on a show in October. So I went to my local BJJ place. First, I Googled it, uh, BJJ near me. And I found a jiu-jitsu place that wasn't too far from my house. And I went there and I asked the coach, like, hey, look, if I do this, will you sign off on me? And he said, if you come every day up until your fight, I'll sign off. And I was there every day, man. I didn't miss a day. And I fought my first amateur fight after having had only been on the mats for like 7 weeks. And I lost, man. I fought a wrestler, of course. I fought a wrestler and he took me down and he just laid on top of me. It was early amateur. So I think it was only like 2 minute rounds. And he just took me down and laid on top of me and I couldn't get up. I didn't know how to get up. And my first fight and only loss. So it was a learning experience. And then I was hooked, man. I was hooked.
Was jujitsu the focus after that? You're just like, I need to
Well,
wrestle. I need
I
jujitsu.
I needed to like I needed everything. Right? Like what I thought I knew, I didn't know. Like I had done some boxing previous to MMA, but it wasn't anything that I thought it was. It was. I was not. I had nothing. I was starting from scratch, so I needed to learn everything. And I was at that gym for 2 or 3 fights, and then I met a good friend of mine, now really close friend of mine, Andre Prochowski, UFC middleweight, and him and I became really close friends. And I think he was a 3-0 pro at the time, and he was like, "Yeah, you're done at that gym, man. Time to come train with the big boys." And yeah, I found myself at Balance in Philly, in the city, with Rick and Phil Migleris. And they had some guys over there that were doing it right on the regional scene. And then COVID hit and they shut their doors, and that's how I found Chris and Kyle Dawkins. So they I wanted to keep training through COVID, and the UFC, obviously they kept their doors open. And I think Chris had just fought Alexei Olenek, and I reached out to him I think before that, I think he fought Parker Porter, and I reached out to him, and they were hesitant because COVID, and it was a very close knit family over there at Martinez during that time, just because you had to be careful. So it wasn't until I think after I think I started working with him for Olenek, and then yeah, he beat him, and you know we've been close ever since. So I went out and I cornered him against Shamel in I forget what month it was, but I was out there with him at T-Mobile Arena. That was the Ortega Volkanovski card.
Yeah, man, it's a whirlwind for you, right? Like
Yeah,
from
I mean, I dove right in, brother. I dove right in. I mean, look, I don't want to sound like big head or anything, but I consider myself like an athletic person. Like I played college football. Um, I'm a little older, but I don't have the miles on my body. Like I don't, my bones aren't beat up, and I didn't take some of the licks that guys who were 38 in the MMA world had taken. And it's no secret that like the heavyweight division, like guys mature, their bodies they grow into the division. I think it's a little bit of a mental thing too. You become more. I guess you're more calm when you're older and you're not, all over the place. So you're able to focus a little more on what you're doing, and I think that's where I've excelled. I've become a student of MMA, and I'm able to absorb information a lot better than some of these kids.
You definitely have, man. And, linking up with like Chris and Kyle and even starting off with Andre, I can
Yeah,
see Andre
well,
still you like come trade with the big one. I can see it
yeah,
say
well,
that
Joey
too.
too, Joey Pfeiffer too. He's a
Oh,
good
oh yeah,
friend.
Piper, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So Pfeiffer was over there with us at Balance, and he uh he gave me some licks, man. So Joey and I were training together early on too. I think he might have been 3-0, 4-0 as well. Maybe he was a little further because he had that arm break on the Contender Series that put him on the bench for a little bit. So Andre was able to put together a couple more wins. Um, so I think Andre's a little further than him, but on the regional sheet, Joey actually was the one that was further along in their career than Andre was. I think Andre's 4-0 in the UFC and Joey's 1-0 in the UFC. So, you know, but it wasn't that way like early on for me. For me, it was like Joey was headlining shows. Like I was on the undercard and Joey was the main event. Um, I think it was that way for 2 shows. And then it was Andre was the main event for a couple shows and I was on the undercard. And now I'm main eventing the same promotion, which is pretty cool, man, because like the guys that I trained with, they were main eventers, and I was on the undercard looking up to them like and now it's my time. So
It is your time, man, and iron sharpens iron, like
yeah,
people like to say, and you're the Philly scene is proof of that,
yeah, man,
and let's talk about this fight, dude, for the
yeah,
vacant heavyweight title, Art of War Cage Fighting 28.
yeah,
Is it perfect timing for you, man, to be fighting
yeah.
for a title right now?
This guy's like I've had a couple opponents that their records weren't exactly shining, but I made light work of them. My first opponent, my pro debut that went the distance, I fought a Cesar Gutierrez or no Larry Gonzalez. He since then has won 3 straight fights. He That was a 3-round battle, um, and he was undefeated previous to that. So my toughest fight was my first fight, and this next fight coming up is by far my toughest fight. This guy's 5-2, Yimaz Wildman, and the 2 fights that he lost, actually, I think there's an argument to say he probably would have won them, but unfortunately, in both fights, he was losing his mouthpiece. I don't know what the deal was there. He like chews on his mouthpiece, I guess, when he's breathing heavy, and he got touched, and they knocked his mouthpiece out a couple times, and he lost points, and I think he lost the fights as a direct result of losing the points, but I'm looking to knock out more than his mouthpiece in this fight, man. I want a big time knockout. I want a big time knockout. Um my last fight was a TKO, and then the 2 fights before that were submissions. And I know the big show wants to see knockouts, man. So um I'll take the fight where it goes. Like if the guy gives me the leg, I'm gonna take it. If I'm going to take the single and take him down if I can. If he gives it to me, if we're on the cage and he lets me take him down, I'm going to take him down. But I'm looking to stand and throw and the walk off Francis Ngannou uppercut. I want that. Speaking of which, how about that news, huh? I was
Insane,
just with
man.
him. I was just with him a couple weeks ago.
With Francis,
Yeah, I was sparring with him. Yeah,
where at?
at Extreme Couture.
Oh, okay, okay.
It's on my Instagram. It's on my
Oh,
Instagram.
okay, okay.
I was out there with Chris
Mhm.
for his last fight against Rosenstrike, and I was getting ready for this fight, and I was getting antsy. And typically, when we're out there, we're like previous to this, we were kind of being monitored, and we don't get crazy. Like we don't go out and really do anything when we're in Vegas. It's kind of like all about the fight. But I wanted to train, and the guy who we buy our food from, John Poppy, who, by the way, if any fighters are watching this and out in Vegas for fight week, and they want to get their meal cooked for them and meal preps. John Poppy's the guy. He trains at Extreme Couture, and they said reach out to Poppy. He's got a couple of good fights too. Poppy does, and he said, let me ask and see if I can get you into Extreme Couture for some rounds. And I think they had like wrestling on a Tuesday. I went in there on Tuesday, and I was at the wrestling class, and Sean Strickland was there, and he was like leaning through the fence, kind of giving me like the stink eye a little bit, like watching me, who's this big guy? And then Poppy said, are you coming in tomorrow for sparring? Like, I'll get you in the cage with Strickland. I'm like, okay, yeah, let's do it. So I showed up the next day, and I walk in the door, and I put my bag down. I sit down on a chair. Strickland makes a beeline straight for me. Hey, big motherfucker. we get in. Am I allowed to curse you? I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
Are we getting in the cage or what? I'm like, yeah, I'll get in there with him. I think I said something to him like, I won't be one of your YouTube highlights or something like that. he cracked up. He's what did he say back to me? Yeah, we're gonna find out something of that nature. And so you pick out your 5 rounds, and because I'd never been there, I didn't know their like etiquette and their itinerary and how it works. But I guess you're supposed to pick out your 5 guys who you're going to spar with. But I was already in the cage, gloving up, getting ready for Sean, and so I'm in there with Sean, and we beat on each other pretty good. Well, he got his shots in on me, and I'm all bloodied up. And so Sean and I grab a quick picture, and I come walking down the stairs, and Francis is standing at the bottom of the stairs. He's like, "Okay, now 2 rounds with me." That's my Francis in person.
Yeah.
Okay, now you do 2 rounds with me. I'm like, can I go wash up because a little bit of blood running down my nose. And then he said, yes, go. I washed up, and then I came out, and so I took the 1 round off, and then I did the 4th and 5th round with Francis. So it was pretty cool, man.
Yeah, man, incredible, incredible. Now when you look at like what Francis is going through right now with the
Yeah,
UFC, how do you see your career moving forward, man? Because this fight coming up, you get the belt,
yeah,
you're gonna get some phone calls. You're gonna get some
yeah.
phone
Yeah.
calls from
I
different
mean,
people.
it's funny because I get a lot of shit. Like I know, okay, so like I know a couple of UFC fighters, right? Like we all kind of mingle, like like Joey and Andre, Chris Kyle, Sean Brady, Jeremiah Wells, Pat Sabatini, those guys, like that little Philly crew. We all kind of know each other, and like I'm the guy who like they all get well, not they all, but there's a couple few that know me, and so I'm the guy who you call when like you don't want to pay anyone. Like I don't. I'll fight for free. I don't care, man. Like it's not about money for me. Like this isn't about money. Like I'm gonna get shit for even saying that on this interview, but I don't care about the money. Like for me, it's about like my legacy. I have 3 sons. Um, I want to show my 3 sons that like you can do anything you put your head to, and that people make mistakes in life, and I'm a story that like I made some mistakes, and I was able to make some changes, and I was able to fix those mistakes, right? It doesn't change the stuff that I did that made me who I am today, but at the other end of it, there's a positive and healthy lifestyle, and for me, this has been all bonus, man. This is all bonus money for me. It's like it's all bonus money for me because like I have I have a successful renovation company where I'm able to make good money. Like you see in my gym, like I was able to put this kind of stuff together and kind of put myself in a position where I can focus on fighting, and I'm able to take days off to go train because money's still coming in. And like my career in the UFC is as long as I'm allowed to fight. Like I want to show up, I want to put on good shows, and I want to go home. You know, and that's like my ideal career is fight until they tell me I'm not fighting anymore. You know, and that's it. Like that's been the goal. It's for me. It's really kind of been UFC or bust. You know, it's like there. I don't care necessarily for the PFL or Bellator or anything of that nature. It's always kind of been UFC or bust because like to me that's the NFL of MMA. It's that like you know, and there's a lot of different people who may disagree with that, but I think the consensus is that they're the world's leading promotion, you know, and that's the direction that I want to go in, and you know, if I get to a point where you know I can't find fights and I'm not signed, then it is what it is. Then I know I went for it. But I think I'm in good hands with Iridium. You know, I think I'm in really good hands with Iridium and Jason House and his crew around him. You know, Jeremy and Jacob and the people and his team at Iridium. That he's kind of like said to me, look, I think 2023 is our year, and if you just keep winning fights, then I think we can make something happen. And you know, it's not a secret that like I said earlier that the heavyweight division is you know known to have its older fighters. You know, so I have my trust and faith in Jason and Iridium and everybody over there that does their thing and with the farm system that he has and how he's able to get guys through. Yeah, I mean 2023 is my year. I'd like to get over there to Thailand over to with Frankie Hickman.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
heard you're a Bantel guy.
Kinda, a little bit, you
Yeah.
know. That's my guy, Frank.
Yeah, yeah. So Frank actually wrestled with Andre in college,
Yeah, yeah.
and every time we see each other, we talk shit because he's actually, I think he's from this area. I know he hides a little bit with the accent, but I think
He's a
he's
chameleon. He's a
what's that?
chameleon. He's a
Yeah, yeah,
chameleon.
he's a
You know.
chameleon. Yeah, I just saw the video that Freestyle posted
Yeah.
today of him getting yelled at for country music or something.
You know, he's from North Carolina, man. What can
Yeah,
you
yeah.
do?
Is that
What
where
can
he's
you
from?
do?
North Carolina?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay. But I think he wrestled in college
yeah.
in Pennsylvania at
Northeast.
Kutztown in Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah, that's
I
right.
could be wrong, but I think that's how him and Andre hit it off.
It's crazy that how they both ended up on the Ultimate Fighter together.
Yeah, yeah. Well, actually, Andre told me like he thought he was going to go to Volk's team. He thought he was going to go to Volk's team, and I think the story was like they Ortega asked him like, "What team do you want to go to?" I think he played both sides of the fence. I think he got asked both of them. They both asked, and when Volk asked him, he said Volk. But yeah, that was pretty cool. And then I bumped into Frank a couple times. I mean, he's cornered Kai and Volk. Like I said, when Volk fought Ortega, we were out there with him, and I think Kai was on the Columbus, Ohio card. So I saw him out there in Columbus, and I think there was another time in there too. And you know, I mean, obviously he's got a couple fighters that he works with. It's no secret that he's a go-to wrestling coach.
For sure, man. And yeah, man. I think a lot of you guys from Philly will be heading out to Thailand in the
Yeah,
next.
yeah. Now I'm gonna try to round up
Yeah,
Kyle and Chris
yeah,
and get
yeah. I've
them.
talked to them about it as well. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
they really want to go.
I think I told him I want to do April. I just had to like the week before tell my wife I'm going to Thailand. All right, babe, going to Thailand.
All right, man.
See ya.
Sounds good, man. Hey, you're at the doorstep, man. Right now,
Yeah,
2023 is gonna be a big year for you. Just got to go take care of business, man. February 3rd, Art
yeah,
of War, Cage Fighting 28. We'll see you, man. Go in the descriptions, download the AllStar app, and Patrick, man, thank you so much for the
yeah.
time.
Follow me on Instagram
Mhm.
at Heavyweight Brady. HEV Weight Brady.